Ellen's friend, Susan, mentioned over lunch that her cousin, Gary, a retired bank teller, had announced at their family Christmas that he was ready to date again. Susan added, "And I told him that I have a friend who's in the same boat." "I hope you were not referring to me," Ellen said. By the end of the meal, though, Susan had talked her into meeting Gary with the assurance that it would be casual. And despite Ellen's initial reluctance, she felt crests of optimism as she lint-rolled dog fur from her red turtleneck to prepare for the date. On the phone, Gary had suggested an early dinner at Dropman's, a family-owned sit-down place that served everything, he said, from a hot dog to a king crab. A bitter wind made its way up Ellen's nostrils, and snow creaked beneath her heels on the short walk across the parking lot. Gary was waiting near the host's stand. Ellen spotted him before he saw her. He had fuzzy gray hair and was slumped on a bench. He straightened up immediately, but only partially, when she entered. He said, "Ellen, I thought you'd be coming from the other way. Susan said you live on Cedar." Ellen said, "I do. I'm coming from the Salvation Army." "Do you volunteer?" "No, just some junk to drop." "Brr." Gary gestured outside, then inside. "Shall we?" They were seated at a nice table next to a window. Their server was a man with a strategically placed Band-Aid covering most of a tattoo on his neck. Gary opened his menu and put on reading glasses. Ellen ordered chicken with rice pilaf, and Gary ordered the Salisbury steak. "I always wondered what that was," Ellen said. "Salisbury." Gary said, "I believe it's a region." The server returned with a basket of bread, and Gary ordered a bottle of the house red. Ellen rarely drank alcohol, but didn't want Gary to think he'd made a mistake, so she accepted a glass when one was offered. Ellen said, "How were your holidays?" "Lousy." Gary took off his reading glasses and slipped them into the pocket of his jacket. "Yours?" "My son and his wife were with her folks on Christmas Eve, then me on Christmas Day. It was marvelous. We have our little traditions." Gary took a roll from the basket and tore it in half. Steam billowed from it. "Grandkids?"